Can you drop off, rates, say, can you drop off now?
And also, space, because they can get better. It's amazing.
Once again, when we get into
Oh,
the
yeah.
meeting of it, there's
He does.
three things up there. One is the forum, the other one is
Yeah, if you did correct.
poker room. You ever done a poker room?
I haven't yet.
Okay, sign up as one of the parentheses. Because we'll have you as a member session, cover the third person. And then we have some references.
Okay.
Okay, so take a look at that before you go.
Is that your hat?
They said that's fine.
Teachers' big problem right now. Young teachers. See, I say, but they just
Like, do they?
it's,
Brought out our little thing with all.
but yeah, at the same time, you don't
You like the new place?
teacher can grab
You do?
Put it back.
Oh, they don't really. I'll,
Well, they're working.
we said, did set they will set up today.
Thank you, appreciate that.
I'll get to the answers. Yeah, Liberia's the first person. Just a little fun thing I'll get. I don't think that
I think I could do it right the third time.
Literally, never, hardly ever watch.
Never watched it.
Just the
Oh,
little bit.
okay.
That would be better with your really?
Yeah.
I don't. You're reaching back for some of the shows. Man, good thing nobody's younger than me. I'm not hard on. I don't watch that show.
You guessing. I'm old enough to have watched it, I just didn't. I'm just trying to remember the song. Jen. Yeah. Yeah.
My dollar out. There's no chance that. I'll get any close to it. I knew there exists, there existence of the buildings. It went across my eyes. I never watched it.
Maybe he should have done last year or something. Ring 1010.
have done better on Gunsmoke.
Star Wars.
Yeah.
Gosh, what shows?
Ruth, when she's home in the afternoon knitting, will have MeTV on.
Oh, yeah, one of those old shows, yeah.
So, you get Gunsmoke, you get Wagon Train, and
Happy Days.
The real McCoys.
Stuff like that. I don't remember.
I've come across those in front.
Are they on?
Happy Days.
You get MASH from 7 to 8.
All the episodes are.
Oh,
Did you watch the last show of Matt? The grand finale?
Mhm.
Half the world.
Well, I was listening to the news over the past month or so. Newscasters every once in a while would say something about there's
Oh, yeah.
chaos.
Well, all right, but
Well, there's actually smart to, I think. You know,
Exactly.
I hope.
That's great.
Missed it by that.
Yeah.
Kevin McCarthy said every votes. Missed it by that much.
It looks like pretty much everybody is.
So anybody that thinks that
Winding you
chaos
up.
in the House of Representatives is unusual, it's not read history.
No, no.
We got some folks in here that don't remember they were too young for this program. We kind of aged
there's
ourselves
some of us
here.
that are too old.
How about the first one?
Hey, Duke.
Duke. Right. Duke. How about number 2?
Steve?
Bodine, yep, B. Number 3,
C.
yep, great. Number 4,
B.
wow, I'm, 5,
Hey.
A.
yep, A.
Dave?
Yeah.
It's one.
Number 6,
B.
B.
it was C, I put a D in there, but it's Skipper and Bessie.
Skipper and Betsy.
Oh.
Number 7,
B. B.
B dash.
Really?
Number 8,
C.
C, correct.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
C,
Yes.
How about 9,
C.
C,
oh, is that C?
C. Number 10,
All of them.
yep, all of them. Number 11,
C.
C.
I like this one.
You're on a roll, man.
You know how she's
How about 12?
B.
Doesn't surprise me, it was D, 25. Back in the day, he'd be a gazillion now.
yeah.
How about number 13,
Hey.
B.
B?
B is in boy,
Oh, that's right.
Commerce Bank. And number 14,
B.
B.
And C.
B's in boy.
I like that one.
We can go back.
Random chance.
Make sure you get 10.
Yeah.
I got 0 because I didn't try. The one that I would have guessed in was, I don't remember.
And you'd think I'd do better
I never
being
watched the show.
from, but see, we nailed them.
Really?
I got 8 right.
Oh, Smith is that, the one is the one I would have guessed.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's embarrassing, I got 9 right. Rich got 8.
Random chance.
Thank you.
And you see, I am, and I'm from the hills of western Pennsylvania. Or maybe it's a mountain.
Okay, now that we've got that bit of nostalgia out of the way, it's time for our guest speaker tonight, Dr. Carrie Kinzer, our school superintendent. Unfortunately, a lot of people are missing your talk tonight, but those of us who are here are looking forward to hearing.
Great, where, does that know where I am?
Whatever you're comfortable with.
All right. Thank you for having me, I really appreciate it. I've really enjoyed my visits to all the service organizations. I think it's pretty clear that this is a strength of our community, that we have so many people that are interested in giving back. So I appreciate whatever you do to give back. I'm sure it may be doing lots of things, so thank you. Definitely directly and indirectly benefits our kids, which is the future of our community. So I have a little, I wasn't thinking about this until now, but when you mentioned that people aren't here, I put out a video that I sent to all of our staff, and it's posted on our website just before the holidays. And it's about a 3.5-minute summary, kind of a lot of the information I'm going to share today. So anybody can go see that. I could, if you'd like, I could email it to someone, but certainly I'd encourage you. I'll send it to them. So I encourage you to watch that, and it's a perfect segue into one of the things I want to talk about. But before I get to that, I do want to share just a little bit of my personal background. This is my 30th year as an educator, and I love every job I've had in K-12 public education. I was a high school teacher first. I started in Imlay City, Michigan, which is on the east side of the state, kind of at the entrance to the Thumb. I taught there for 1 year and really was looking for a different setting than that. At the time, my sister was a student at Michigan State, and my mother was a high school librarian, and she came to Michigan State to pick up my sister for the summer, stopped in the Okemos Public Schools Administration office, and they didn't have a librarian job for her, but they had an English teacher job for me. So I chose to apply, and was fortunate enough to earn that position, and I spent 23 years in the Okemos Public Schools. So I was a high school English teacher when I was there. I also coached some football. I coached girls golf. I was there for 5 years, and then at 29 I became an assistant principal at Kinawa Middle School. Kinawa is now a 5-6 building, but at the time it was a 6-7-8 middle school. So I did that for 7 years, and then I became principal at Hiawatha Elementary School, which is right there on Jolly Road, just east of Okemos Road, and I did that for 11 years. And while I was doing that, I earned a master's degree and a doctoral degree in educational leadership, and I knew that I really wanted to branch out and do something beyond the principalship, although I love that position. I still have close relationships with many of my teachers from that staff. And I applied for and earned the position of Assistant Superintendent of Human Resources in the Novi Community School District. At the time, my daughter was a freshman, and she said, "Dad, I am fully supportive of you pursuing this job, but just understand we are not moving." So, so I drove to Novi for 5 years, and really great school district, very progressive. And I was blessed to work for a superintendent who let me do a lot and gave me opportunities to learn and grow, and really helped me become prepared to pursue superintendency. I did apply for a number of other superintendencies, and it's a process. First one that I interviewed for, I didn't do very well. And gradually I went through the process a few more times. And I really believe those processes work out for the best. And I look back and I'm thankful that I didn't earn some of those jobs that I pursued, because this was the right fit for me. So my wife, Marcy, was a teacher, basketball coach, athletic director, assistant principal, and principal at Mason from 1996 to 2009. And her last position was as principal at Aladdin. And she only left because that was the year that Cedar Street closed, and they had to reduce an elementary principal position, and she was going to have to go back to being a high school assistant principal, and as much as she enjoyed that job, she didn't want to go backwards. So she moved on to East Lansing, and she was a principal there for 3 years, and then decided to get out of K-12 and served as the director of the Playmakers Fitness Foundation for 10 years. And then just this fall, she moved on again, and now she is the Vice President of Donor Services for the Capital Region Community Foundation. So they support nonprofits across the Tri-County region, help them invest their funds, establish endowments, and do really fantastic community projects. So she helped me learn a lot about this community. Quite honestly, helped me get this job, because that's how respected she was in this district. And I hear almost every day, "Oh, I worked for your wife at Aladdin," or I worked with your wife at the high school, or your wife was my English teacher, or basketball coach. And I'm pretty confident that if she had not left, she would be superintendent. And she would not be happy because this wouldn't be the right job for her. But anyway, I knew back then that this was a fantastic community. So when this opportunity came up last spring, I was immediately excited to pursue it, and it just worked out. So I started in July, and my biggest priority is to build relationships. So I try to attend as many meetings with community organizations as I can. I try to be in as many different places. Sometimes I just come to bestsellers because that's really all you have to do. But I really, throughout my career, it's the relationships that I've been able to develop with students, teachers, parents, community members that really has been the most significant factor of success. So this is one of the, probably the ultimate we're all in this together business, and it requires all of us to have successful educational programs that benefit kids. So that's really what matters the most to me. One thing that I promised our teachers on the first day when I was able to meet with them at Mason High School was that I would visit. I've worked with a lot of superintendents, and a lot of them don't get out of their office very much. And quite honestly, the stuff we do in our office isn't that fun. So, if you have the opportunity to go visit classrooms and watch students learn and teachers teach, that's what you should do. So I go to every building at least once a month. I usually begin with one of the administrators in the building, and I'll spend maybe 20, 25 minutes because I need to build relationships with them too. And then I just go visit classrooms, and I told the teachers right from the start, I am not evaluating you. The principals do that. I just want to watch you teach. I just want to see students learn. I need to know what's happening in classrooms, and the only way to do that is to visit. So I'm getting to the point where kids usually, I would say for me, 3rd or 4th grade on up, they see me and they know who I am. They don't always remember my name. There's that guy in the suit again. I see them in the lunchroom, I see them on the playground, and that's where I'm the happiest. So I make that a big part of every week that I'm gonna be out and about and visit. So I feel really good about the relationships that I've been able to develop so far, but this is a long-term investment, so that will only strengthen over time. I want to talk about a few other things that are happening in the district that are significant, and then I certainly want to make this, an opportunity for you to ask questions and for you to, before I do that, I neglected, I need to tell you a little bit about my kids. So I do have 2 children. My daughter is a 2021 graduate of Oakland High School. She is a sophomore at Miami University in Oxford, Ohio, finance major. So she has made it very clear to me that she's gonna make money, and I support that. So my son is a sophomore at Oakland High School, and he's a typical 16-year-old boy, loves school, plays baseball, plays basketball, and has no idea about his future. So I'm hoping to help steer him, but at this point, he's keeping all of his options open. But I'm very blessed to have 2 great kids. And one thing I can say about my son, I'm pretty sure he's not going to be an educator either. And that saddens me a bit because I come from a family of educators. Both of my parents, grandmother, uncles. So anyway, so other priorities in the district, safety and security. I'm sure that if you pay attention to what happens in schools on any level, safety and security keeps us up at night. Worrying about how to make sure our kids are as safe as they can be is a full-time job in and of itself. And we've done some things. Well, first of all, I want to give credit to Ron Javisky, who was a superintendent here for 8 years prior to me. He put a lot of infrastructure in place that, and I shouldn't say he and our team working together. So this is a pretty, we have systems that are pretty outstanding. I know that because in August, we brought in a consultant who is a former Secret Service person who retired from the Secret Service and developed a national and now international business. He goes through schools and he's developed a process to assess their systems, identify strengths and weaknesses, make recommendations for growth and improvement, and provide support and training. And the state of Michigan right now is paying for it. So we brought him in for 2 days in August. He did a very comprehensive assessment of our schools. He first and foremost affirmed that we really have outstanding systems. That said, there is always room for growth, so he made some recommendations. And in addition to the state paying for the assessments, in our February state aid payment, we're going to receive somewhere in the range of about $400,000 that's earmarked specifically for safety. So we're going to prioritize cameras and door locks. The most important piece of equipment in any classroom is making sure that the door is easily locked, and making sure that when it's locked or unlocked, the teacher's aware of it. Steele Elementary School, if you have the opportunity to visit, and it is a beautiful school. I know it's not a new school, but for all intents and purposes, it's a new school. Every classroom it's essentially a deadbolt, but when you slide it to the locked position, you see red. When you slide it to the unlocked position, you see green. So if they're ever in a situation, and statistically the odds of this happening are incredibly remote, but we still hear of it happening, where there's an armed intruder in the school, it'll be very easy to lock the door. And we know from 24 years of research since Columbine that an armed intruder finds a locked door, he moves on to the next room. So that's the most important thing we can do. So we're going to be investing in making sure that we have similar locking mechanisms in all of our classrooms. That is not going to happen immediately, especially in older buildings like Mason High School, Mason Middle School. We have locks of all sorts in classroom doors. We've got those crash bars that you push, different kind of handles. So it's a bigger endeavor than you might think, but we're going to focus, our first priority will be Mason High School, because statistically, again, if there's ever going to be an armed intruder, it's going to be in high school. Almost all of them have been in high schools, with the exception of Sandy Hook. So that's what we have to emphasize first, but we'll be doing all of our buildings in the years to come. And we need more cameras. So those were just 2 recommendations. A third, we also qualified, we just learned of this 2 weeks ago. The state will pay half the cost of a school resource officer. And then we're going to partner with the city of Mason to cover the rest of the cost. So we will be implementing a school resource officer, so a Mason police officer, who will be housed in primarily the high school, but he or she will travel to all of our buildings. And this person is not there to provide law and order. This person is there to build relationships and support kids. So when I was in Novi last year, Novi is probably 30 minutes from Oxford, and in the days after that tragedy in Oxford last year, we were dealing throughout Oakland County, really the whole Detroit area, we were dealing with all kinds of our own threats. And our school resource officers were so vital in helping us determine which threats were real, which were not threats that we really needed to pay a lot of attention to. Few were, and they had relationships with kids and parents to help us deal with those effectively. So it became very clear to me how important that resource is, and the state made it financially feasible for us to do that. I'm grateful for our partnership with the City of Mason and the Mason Police Department, Chief Rigglesworth. So we received that grant a couple of weeks ago. We will go through the process of making sure that when we pull an officer off of patrol, because they'll be in our schools, that they're adequately staffed. And then the goal will be to have that person in schools beginning in August of 23. So this is a big step forward for our school district, and I'm really pleased that that's gonna happen. So we'll continue to prioritize safety, and not just hardened safety, not just making sure that we have, you know, monitoring and the technology we need, but also social emotional safety for our students and for our staff. And, you know, we've noticed that as a far more significant issue since COVID. Wellness is a big challenge for us. In the past 2 or 3 years, we've invested heavily in counselors, social workers, psychologists, other staff members whose primary focus is to support staff and students. So that's another big piece of when we talk about safety. It's also supporting all of our people on a social emotional level. I want to talk a little bit about diversity, equity, and inclusion, DEI. So when people hear that phrasing DEI, sometimes I think they misunderstand what it really is. And it seems, it can be contentious and controversial. It's really not. It is about making sure that every student in our schools is fully included in all that we do. That is not a controversial concept. Doesn't matter how, what their socioeconomic status is, doesn't matter what their race is, doesn't matter what their religion is, doesn't matter 2 mothers, 2 fathers, doesn't matter what language they speak, we include everyone. So that's what our DEI efforts are all about. And it's an easy concept, but it's not easy to do. So we have and have had for several years now, a DEI committee made up of administrators, teachers, parents, and other community members. They've been working hard for several years to help build capacity for our staff to do a good job of this. This year, we focus on building capacity with our administrators. So every other month, we have a monthly leadership team meeting, about a half day, once a month. Every other month, we focus on DEI, and then certainly the other months, we've got plenty of other business to attend to as well. And there's been significant growth in all of our administrators and their ability to work with their teachers to support all students. So you'll hear that phrasing, and it should not be a scary thing. Even though we don't have a lot of obvious diversity, you know, in both Okemos and Novi districts where I spent most of my career, lots of obvious racial and ethnic diversity. Not so much in this community, but we have so many other forms of diversity, and every community does, that it's really important work, and it makes such a significant difference to students. For them to know that every classroom that they're in is a safe place for them, regardless of whatever their situation is. So that's one of our highest priorities in the district. We're going to, well, we've already actually begun strategic planning. Our last strategic plan in the district was done in 2016, and that's too long. You know, when you let 7 years go, and it's no one's fault that happened. COVID happened, and it delayed the process. But a pre-COVID strategic plan is not very meaningful in a post-COVID world. So our world has shifted so dramatically since 2020 that we need to engage in strategic planning. So we started by surveying all of our parents, and we received a lot of responses, electronic online survey. And then we also we're working with a facilitator from a company called the Michigan Leadership Institute, which is a group of retired superintendents, very experienced and able to lend support for us. They hosted a series of focus group meetings 2 weeks ago, where they collected a lot more data. So the format is called SWOT, Strengths, Weaknesses, Opportunities, and Threats. So we collected a lot of data, And then beginning on the 8th of February, we're going to meet with about 50 people representing all different forms of the community. So we'll have administrators, teachers, board members, students, parents, business people in the community, law enforcement, mayor, city manager, lots of other people that I'm sure I'm forgetting. And we're going to be working with the data that we have and really mapping out a mission, a vision, and areas of focus for the next 3 to 5 years. And then our administrators will work very hard to operationalize it. So we will develop an action plan for how we're going to get after the goals that we set. And certainly also some strategies for monitoring our progress. And then I'll look forward to reporting our progress to the board at least annually. So that's going to be a really key couple months for the district. The goal is to develop the plan and present it to the board for approval prior to the end of the school year. And I'm again thankful to Ron Jabiski because he could have done this last year. He knew he was going to retire and he chose to put it off a year. And I'm so thankful because I get to be part of it instead of just inheriting somebody else's plan. So, and again, it's another thing, back to what I said about relationships. It's just another opportunity for me to build connections. The last thing that I want to talk about is our bond. So in 2017, this incredibly supportive community passed a bond for about $70 million. And in phase 1 of that, we did a lot of renovation to Harvey, Allen, and North Lewis. And they are beautiful buildings. Remember Allen from when my wife was principal there. You walk in that building today and it doesn't even resemble what it did in 2005. Beautiful buildings, great job. Phase 2 was primarily steel, and steel is spectacular. I would put that up against any elementary school. It's just beautiful, modern. The architecture really provides, current day opportunities for students with technology, lighting, sound. It's spectacular. Series 3. We're now turning the page to Series 3 of this bond, and we're going to focus on Mason High School and Mason Middle School. However, even when the plan, when the bond was mapped out in 2017, there wasn't a lot of money put in Series 3. Most of the money is in Series 1 and 2. The work we're going to do in our secondary buildings is largely infrastructure. So HVAC systems at Mason High School are out of date. So we have to invest in that. We also have put in what we call secure entries into our elementary schools. So when you visited a school 15 years ago, it was very common. You could walk in the front door during school, get locked, and just walk in and right into the hallways of the building. So we don't do that anymore. So now obviously our doors are locked, but not only that, when you are given access to a building as a guest, you're forced to route through the office. And that way, we have a lot more control over where guests are in the building. So we've done that in our elementary buildings. Now we have to do it in these schools. So we're going to do that. We're also going to invest in classroom technology in those buildings, instructional technology, as well as buses. So we're going to do all that in Series 3. There are some things we hope to do, but in this, we're fortunate. We got most of our work done prior to the inflation we're experiencing now. So we got good value in Series 1 and 2. We're not going to get such good value in Series 3, unfortunately. But there are many districts who have been hit much harder than us because they weren't as far along in their bond. Where they were spending the most money was right when inflation became such a big problem. So we're blessed that, certainly is an issue for us, but nowhere near as big of an issue. But there are some things that we had hoped to accomplish in Series 3 that we won't be able to do. Primarily, we were hoping to reorganize the office at Mason Middle School, and that project's just going to have to wait. So I say that because I know this community has done a lot to support our school district. I'm I believe that the investment has resulted in really great learning opportunities for our students. So I think the investment was allocated very wisely by the team in our district, but we're gonna need more. So that is just our reality, that when I look at the differences between our elementary buildings and our secondary buildings, we have a lot of work to do at Mason Middle School and Mason High School. So one of my goals, long-term, is, it's not really long-term, I guess, but in the next couple of years, is to build enough trust in this community so that when we come to you again and ask for support, you have confidence in us that the investment is gonna result in the improvements at the secondary that we already have at the elementary. So, and I wanna be very transparent about that. And I believe that we have a responsibility as a school district to be the best possible stewards of taxpayer dollars. And we have the responsibility to be very transparent about what we do with the investment we make in our schools. And you can expect to hear from me because I'm gonna be showing you, telling you. And hopefully, you're gonna say, this is worth it. But the responsibility is on us. I would never expect anyone to vote, and maybe we're gonna be able to do it without increasing taxes. I mean, that would be the ideal situation. But I would never expect anyone to vote yes on a bond without us doing our part and helping you see why. So we will do our part and give you every opportunity to see what happened with the last investment and hopefully feel good about it. I will take any questions you have, and I would love this to be a bit of a dialogue. I don't want to take up all of your meeting time, but you can probably see that I can sit here and talk for a while. So,
The
Yes,
money
sir.
for the resource officer from the state, how long will that go for?
so the grant's for 3 years.
Okay.
So, but the good news is the state, well, I guess it's two pieces of good news. One, the state recognizes that it has to invest in safety and security. And quite frankly, right now the state has a lot of money. So every January, there is a meeting called the Consensus Revenue Estimating Conference. And state economists get together and take a look at revenues and their budget situation. So that meeting happened almost 2 weeks ago, and the state has a record $9.2 billion surplus divided between its general fund and the school aid fund. A lot of that money, probably almost half of that surplus, comes from one-time federal COVID-related investments. So we know that money's not always gonna be there. So we're looking, and both the state and local school districts are trying very hard to make sure that we spend that money on non-recurring expenses. That just makes sense. But right now, the state's in a good budget situation. So I'm confident that it will continue to invest in these programs beyond the 3 years. Even if it doesn't, we'll prioritize it in our budget and we'll find a way to pay for it because it's that important. All right, thank you very much for the opportunity.
Sit down there. We'd like to thank you for coming tonight, sharing a bit about yourself and about your plans for the school district coming up.
Thank
A
you.
little token of our appreciation.
Thank you, I
Thank you.
appreciate it.
All righty, let's move on. Gary, you are welcome to stay if you want for our business meeting. If you don't want to.
I would love to learn a little bit about you.
All righty, you're welcome to stay. Let's move right along into the secretary's report.
If you'll turn your agenda over, you'll see the minutes from our last meeting.
Anybody have any questions or changes they see needed? Okay, I don't think there are any, so let's go on to the treasurer's report. Rich?
The administrative account has got $9,317.79. Gaming, 9,166.92, donations account, 4,311.56. And we are now the proud owners of a $5,000 13-month certificate of deposit at Dart Bank.
Okay,
Also, all our winter dues are paid,
okay,
so international, state, and district.
okay. Any questions for Rich? Then next will be the Leo Club report.
We have had, myself, Doug, and Dave go to the meetings, and then Karen, you're going on Friday.
Yep.
Would you folks like to share anything?
Well, they found, I think we mentioned this last time, they found 2 cases of lion's mints
Right.
in a cupboard, and they were the fizzy fruit and the wintergreen, the 2 kinds that were in short supply, believe it or not, locally. But nonetheless, they wanted to do something like they did the candy gram. So when I was there at that meeting a couple weeks ago, they were busy trying to figure out how to promote what they were doing, which is selling the mints.
And when I was there, they were working on posters to put up in the cards like they did the candygrams last year.
So they're working on a service project so that they can raise money for the
Right.
club. That's the update.
Okay, thank you. Some old business to go through here. Poker room signups.
We have up here on the table, signups for the March 8, 9, 10, and 11 poker rooms. I marked with an asterisk and the names of the people down at the bottom, a single asterisk, for people who already signed up to participate as of last meeting. If you have not signed up to participate, everybody will know because your name's not down there. So just let you know that. If you've never done a poker room, there is a spot there for you to write your name in parentheses, so you can be the 3rd person in that group to learn how it operates, because we do need to have more people doing it. So that's on the back table back there, and we also, in regards to poker room, we I went to a training on how to do the application online, which is what I did this last time for the March poker room. And Rich has gone through a baptism by fire on the reporting, so, but he's gone through that now, so we have that pretty much taken care of. So that was from the December poker.
Yeah, for those who don't know, the State Gaming Commission has gone to an all computerized data handling thing. We don't turn in paper reports, we don't turn in paper applications anymore. Everything has to be done online. So it's been a learning process for everybody involved. And on top of that, most of us weren't that familiar with how things were handled in the past. But with Stan being in the hospital and so forth, we're learning. We're carrying on and getting some backup in our.
Do they audit that afterwards? Does the state gaming audit that?
They audit everything.
Is it before, is it after, or during?
Before, they take a look at all the paperwork from everybody, and then they also send around inspectors to the actual event. Oh, yes.
During the,
Yeah.
Yeah, they earn their money.
Okay, you want to continue with sweepstakes?
Okay, next up, we have the sweepstakes tickets. Those are up here as well. And we've already had some people go ahead and participate in that, and that's the double asterisk down there at the bottom. But those of you who signed up tonight, your name isn't there yet. But if your name isn't there and you didn't sign up tonight, that means that you still have to pick up some sweepstakes tickets. Last year, we sold them all through our members. Okay, we didn't need to have the club buy any. And that's what we want to do again this year.
A little bit of background information about that. These sweepstakes tickets are for the Lions of Michigan Foundation, which provides money for people who can't afford, say, cornea transplant. They will help them pay for that. They give help to military families, they help with disasters, they help with hearing aid costs. The club, in selling these tickets, if we sell a certain amount of them, and if we sell them all, this happens, we get half that money back. So if we sell a $10 ticket, we sell all of our $10 tickets, we get $5 back. So it's money back in our own treasury for our more local kinds of needs. Rich?
And we've also had the Lions of Michigan Service Foundation provide money through our club to the people.
Yes, yes, so a number of people in the community have benefited generously from the foundation. Okay, fairgrounds announcement? Who wants to recap
I
on that?
went to the announcement for the fairgrounds that they had last week. Representative Alyssa Slotkin was there to present the grant that they got approved through Congress for $2.5 million toward a grandstand. Now, our Lions Club has been helping out by buying a brick. In fact, I saw our brick there at that particular event. And I don't know, somebody took my picture with it, but I don't know who it was. But at any rate, so we've helped out before through the Ingham County Fair Foundation. But between the foundation and this grant, they're gonna start building the grandstand. They'll have to, of course, get in line for everything, and of course, the price of everything continues to go up. So they're hoping to have something going on, not this summer, but the following summer. So that's what kind of the goal right now. But the other thing that I found out later, that there was another grant that the congressperson got us for a trail connection between Mason and Holt. So Mason is benefiting two different ways, so in this round of funding. So it was great to be there. I wore my Lions billboard, but I didn't get on the news, but that's me.
And if you bought a brick, we're trying to design something where the bricks will be like a pathway to a seating area with everybody's names on them. We're still selling bricks so that we can add to it. We're trying to have like a seating area with maybe Ferris wheel or something associated to the fair at that place. We put it out for kids to give us drawings on it. Didn't get anything back from them, so we're gonna have to go somewhere else. But still keep buying the bricks. It's coming up. The foundation itself has raised over $50,000 thanks to all you guys, and it will be going towards everything else to the grandstands other than having to buy it.
They're calling them memory bricks, which I thought was kind of ironic, because if you get hit in the head with one of them, you won't remember anything.
Okay, Lions Forum on February 25th, we've talked about this a couple of
We
times.
still have some flyers back
Yeah,
there.
there are some flyers back there, and Doug is gonna be one of our speakers, and it's gonna be a good time. If you haven't ever been to a forum, it's a great opportunity for networking and for learning some really cool stuff. District Cabinet meeting is this Saturday morning. It'll be at the VFW in Perry at 9 o'clock. It's gonna be a breakfast meeting. Those are always fun too, and we'll be done by probably 11 o'clock, I would guess. 12 at the latest. Anyway, those are always fun too. Jeff and I will be going.
I'll be going to.
Oh, you're going to? Great. Okay. Celebration of Service, which we used to be known as the District Convention, that's gonna be in Owasso at the, what's the name of that place? Yeah, the hotel in Owasso.
It's a nice place.
Yeah, it's a nice place. I'll have to look it up, but anyway, it's Comstock Inn, yes, that's correct. Yeah, it's at the Comstock Inn in Owasso. It's a nice place. We've had the convention there before. And again, this is a fun event. They'll have a memorial service, and they'll have the standard boring business meeting, but a good networking opportunity again. Doug, you can talk about the booth.
Between Rich and I, we took care of the double booth that we talked about last time for Spring Fling Show, so that's paid. We'll do signups for that beginning in March.
Okay. Any other items for old business? Hearing none, we'll move along to new business. February 8th, first of all, we're gonna be meeting upstairs. There's a theater group that's gonna be either rehearsing or doing their performances here at the same time as our meeting, but we've arranged with Jamie to meet upstairs. So it talks here about meeting on strategic directions, and so even the service clubs, like the schools, have to have our strategy sessions and planning and so forth. This sounds on paper like it's gonna be a bunch of stuffed white shirts and ties and all that. It is not gonna be anything formal whatsoever. I'm thinking maybe even taking the same format as we used last fall for our teams that looked at activities and speaker ideas and things like that. So it's gonna be a very low-key, casual kind of thing, but we do need to step back from time to time, and I think now is as good a time as any. where are we going, what can we do with the people and the money that we have, are we doing the best that we can for the Mason community, are there other things that we could be doing that would be more useful, that kind of thing. It's not gonna be a heavy-duty kind of a meeting at all. Not gonna,
Things to think about, Karen prepared a document that's on the table that you can take with you. With
which
open-ended
actually,
questions.
I plagiarized from something that Doug done.
And I plagiarized that from SCI.
Yeah, he got it from the LCI website. Okay, April. I'm between cataract surgery and new glasses here, so, it's kind of back and forth.
Our district governor will be here on February 26th.
Yes, and I think a lot of us have already met Tracy. She's just an absolutely fabulous, high energy, dedicated, hardworking, smart, nice person, and you'll enjoy seeing her and listening to her talk. Linda Hewson from Mason Community Services, Doug, you know her.
Yeah, Jenny and I went to their last meeting, and she was seated next to me, so I got her signed up to be our speaker on the April 26th. They're putting together a new clothing bank and diaper bank over where the food bank is. So that's in the process, that's gonna be incorporated. They're trying to say that they're trying to make it so that all the service organizations, all the churches, all the other community organizations that provide any kind of service to our community will have some kind of presence there, even if it's just something on a bulletin board. But we'll be able to promote what we do. We could even, help them out maybe at the diaper bank from time to time. We've already done that for a couple of their projects before in the past. But that's gonna be the new home for the clothing bank instead of the Methodist Church.
Okay.
So that's the first thing they're gonna do. And last year they got a van to help people with transportation concerns, that kind of thing. They started up a 26 plus club for people who've moved out of the system because they turned 26 or older, and they lost their social opportunities locally.
The kids that are in special ed.
That's right. And so, and they got that group going over at the Presbyterian Church. So this is quite a big group. Check their website, Mason Community Services, and we've been a part of that since they started. So.
One of the things that 26 plus, it's friends now. Just at Christmas time, they went and they decorated cookies that were already made. But they took extra money and they walked down here to the pub and they all had a meal there, and all of them just loved it. It was like, okay, we're out in the public again, we can see people, instead of cooped up in your house. It was very good. Anybody wants to help them out, you're more than glad to let you do it.
Okay, I have one thing for other items, and that is, it's not too early to start thinking about who's gonna be officers for next year. Now, we have some that are listed down here, and it's kind of a natural succession kind of thing, but people's lives have changed or haven't changed, and so obligations might stand in the way. If you can take up an officer slot that you didn't think you'd be able to, we'd love to hear from you. If things are such that you're not going to be able to, we need to hear from you about that too, so we can start looking for alternatives. So that's it for new business, unless somebody else has something to bring up. Yes,
I'm looking for 2, maybe 3 service projects. A service project is something that Modern Woodman can do. Examples, we've done the bricks out here actually, and we refurbished the Veterans Memorial up front. We refurbished the 9/11 Memorial down at the fire department. We bought the fire department a new flag when it was damaged during the big holiday flag, 30 by 50, when it was damaged during the Troopers Memorial procession that went through. We've probably done, 50 service projects within Mason over the last 3 years. It's a variety of almost anything you can think of. It can be individuals, it can be organizations. So if anybody knows of any service projects, anywhere it costs from $300 to $900 per project is what we've done. Schools, where we toy, kickball, ball supply, or storage facilities at the schools, a TV for the chamber. So I'm just trying to think of different things that we've done to give you an idea. But if anybody knows of anybody in need of a service project, please let me know. I'm looking for 3 for this year to do so. I had most of our fraternal events mapped out for the year, but I've got a couple service projects left that I'd like to identify. So
Hey, are there any other announcements and reminders? Hearing none, let's move ahead. What?
We need to hear about Stan.
Okay, update on Stan Jordan, if you don't mind, Jenny.
I don't mind. I don't know if most of you know, Dave has been a godsend.
Hello.
The 1st of January, we got lost him. He was at Medi Lodge. When I got there, he was incoherent. He was terrible. Took him in to the hospital. He was in ICU for 2 days. He's now at Diamondale. They have him, first time today, he's doing therapy. They're gonna do it every day for a week. Had him down to therapy. They have to use a Hoyer lift to get him out of bed because he's so big and not being able to use his legs, and he's weak. Got him down and they had him sitting up on his own today, which I don't know the last time he's been able to sit.
Was he
up on his
dizzy?
own. Oh, yes, he was very dizzy. But it's looking better. They've got a 4-week plan for his therapy. He says, well, then I can come home in 4 weeks. And I said, I don't think so. You get the wound taken care of. But he's better. And he said, anybody wants to see him come in the afternoon, he's doing therapy in the mornings. And I said, good for you. So, we're on our way now.
It's good to hear. Thank you, Jenny. Keep them in your prayers, people. Okay, if there isn't anything else, we'll do the 50-50.
11 dollars.
The last 4 numbers are 8132.
Maybe one of these.
8132? Oh, no, Gordon.
Gordon.
Again,
You want the 10 or the 5, 1 or the 1?
I don't care. I had something yet.
I'm sure we did.
Well, congratulations, Gordon.
There you go.
Wait a minute, that is doing.
Take a cut there, Dave.
Yeah.
Okay, Joker draw.
Okay,
What's the pot today?
the pot is $57.
Okay.
Chris? Oh, you got a whole bunch in there, yeah. So, what do we got? Let me see that. Let me see that. Okay, it ends up at 606.
That's mine.
That's yours? All right. Well, let's see what we come up with. I've shuffled them a couple times, and I want to do something else to them. You go ahead. Uh-oh. It's not the Joker, though. It's the Jack of Spades.
Uh-oh.
Close. So is there a Joker in here? Let's see. Oh,
Got a room full of jokers.
no. Well, there's that. There it is. Ah, long ways away. All right.
Are there any other last minute thoughts? We are adjourned.
Thank you.
So moved. I have a question. You said you were. Oh, sorry.
Where are we at here?
What do we have? Texas Hold'em.
Sir?
Oh, I gotta grab my.
All right.
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Ken Routzen, Jeff Routzen.
What you got there? 11?
Yeah, just sign up in one of those
Parentheses
boxes there.
I think I'm gonna go on this one right here. That's on a Thursday.
It don't matter to me.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought there were late night ones.
No, well, there are.
Oh, right here. Okay.
These are the daytime, these are the nighttime. And then they switch again next time.
All right. Let's see
Taking my
here.
own sweet time.
Thanks, Doug. Take care.
Can I get out of there on a Thursday at
Okay.
2:30?
Thank you. Everybody have a good night. Yep. Thank you.
There we go.
March
That
9th.
should be it.
March 9th.
Sure.
Shoot, can't do that one. March 8th.
Be careful with that, Jeff.
Yeah, don't drop it.
Oh, did I?
Yep. No, we just try to keep them.
March 10th is a Friday. Do I have Bree? March 10th. Saturday, March 11th. I don't think I only have one option here. Well, Saturday, March 11th.